Hello, welcome back to the ministry, and we're on part two of the film Out of Time. So, I wanted to start off by saying you got ordained spouses, the ones that have been out there being prodigals, being foolish, they are out of time. They're out of time. God has told them they are out of time, and God has shown them through the experience they probably went through recently within the past 6 months, within the last year. It was an experience that they experienced that showed them how out of time that they were, that they needed to get into alignment, not with just, oh, I'm say I'm serving you, God. No, they need to get in full alignment because they need to get back in order with you, their spouse, because they got work to do. Everything that they're doing is holding up God's plans. God don't play that. And because of that, they in trouble. So God created a scenario that was going to inevitably cause them to be like, I did this, I went through this experience was not good for me. I ain't gonna play this game no more. Not near enough again. Am I gonna play this type of game anymore? Because they've been on the run. And some of y'all know your God ordained spouse been on the run. Some of y'all had visions and dreams of your spouse running in the opposite direction. You're like, where are you going, bro? Where you going? They married to you and they still running. Some of y'all divorced from them, but they supposed to come back to you and they still running. And that's what this place is. But some of you, this ain't all of you. They have to get it together because their time is running out. And I'm going to tell you, go and watch Lady Jeremiah's word, Daughters of Zion. It's one she did early this year, talking about the men were out of time. That when God comes into the field, he's coming to check. And if you ain't in the right place and in the right position and getting ready for the wife, you're in detriment to lose her. Because God's not going to make a lot of us wait much longer before he's going to choose again. And for some of y'all, if they don't get it together and he can't see their heart posture, their mind posture, and their positioning posture has changed, by now, I'm going to tell you this. If they are not on board 100%, meaning they're en route to you, then they may be in detriment. You can watch that word and find out what the detriment is. But there's still an option, and some of you may not see this visually. There may not be any signs, no wind, no rain, to show you. But the man is actually trying to come towards you. But God's trying to surprise you in this season. And because he's surprising you, he's having the men prepared to come out of your sight. Okay? But what got them to that place is what you're hearing about right now. Okay? So, him and the wife go back to the precinct. She says, can I set up shop here? God has placed you in a perfect vantage point. You right in the middle. Remember how Ruth was placed directly in Boaz's field? That's exactly what this woman was doing. She was in his field. She was in his vantage point. She was in his building doing the work. God has positioned you in a spiritual place that you will be able to investigate all of the things. And some of y'all, the wives I'm talking to, y'all were assigned to spiritually investigate because you were praying, you were fasting, you were raising up this man's name, you were praying into certain things, and God showed you. He showed you exactly what was going on. He didn't make it exact, but he gave you enough of a hint that you could spiritually decipher exactly what was going on. Then brought confirmation. Maybe one of the people that you listened to had a word of it, so on and so forth. But you sat in the space. Now, him and her were having a conversation as she was getting herself set up, that her and her team was going to set up with their files and stuff for this case. The old woman that saw him the night before was there doing a sketch. They wanted to introduce him to her. And when he saw her, he took his sunglasses and made sure he was covering his face up, make sure that I can't have her see me, because if she see me, then she gonna wreck. And I don't even know if he changed clothes or not. I'll be real. I don't know if he even changed clothes, but he had his same profile, same type shirt, all that type of stuff. And he knew I can't just go over there and introduce myself. And he was avoiding, but he turned and repositioned. I think he repositioned the wife so that she was standing directly in front of him so that he couldn't or didn't have to look like, so that the old woman didn't see him while he was having a conversation with the wife. My thing is this: why do men think we stupid? We can see those little fears and anxieties that they are having, and we like, what's going on with you? What's going on with you? I'm gonna tell you this. I remember one time the Lord showed me my goddamn spouse, right? He was on social media, right? And he posted something. I looked at that image. I was like, what's going on with him? I literally went to God. I was like, God, what's going on with him? What do I need to pray? Because he looking real weird in this picture right here. It's something off right now with this man. What's going on? Something ain't right here. So we know something going on. We know something up. We know something's not right here. What's going on? So he's standing there, and then all of a sudden, the woman, he's doing the sketch. The wife goes over and he looks at the sketch, and she introduces herself and so on and so forth. And she's like, his nose looked a little like this, and this, and this, and then it's like he looked like somebody. Who he look like? He looked like. Then she look up and she see him, and she's adjusting her glass, and he trying to turn around like, and then she's like, him. He looked like him. And her daughter's standing there, Ma, that's the chief of police. What are you talking about? They look like. And then she turned around and saw another black guy that was working in the office and says, him. It looked like him. And he was like, oh. And she's like, I am so sorry. My mother said that. I am so sorry, Chief Whitlock. He's like, oh, yeah. And the wife's like, because we be peeping stuff. We see stuff. So she go back and she look at the sketch again. But she lets it go right then. So they're still trying to figure out now what with this case. So they already checked the Rosie's thing. So it's now they had to go over to the doctors. Now he's about to have himself a heart attack because he's like, I went in the doctor's office. They done seen me in there. Oh Lord, what's gonna happen when they got something on me? So they go in there and she asks, and he turns around like he trying not to look like he's standing there and looking at, because he don't want nobody recognizing. So he walks up with her, and they go up, and they say that the doctor's office. He said, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and when he goes, they tell her, oh, the doctor's office is on the third floor, let's say, and he knew that they went to the fourth floor. So they went to her doctor, and it's not the same guy. So she's like, wait, what? And he's like, you know what? You go ahead. My stomach's bothering me. I drank all that coffee. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. She said, go ahead. And he runs off and runs up to the office on the fourth floor that they had been in that doctor's office. When he gets up there, he's thinking he's going to see the same guy. Not the case. It's a completely different older guy that he ain't never seen before. And he's like, are you the same doctor that had this office the whole time? He's like, yeah. He's like, your doctor exited is on the placket. He's like, can I borrow your pen? He's like, yeah, you can have it. Not knowing at all that this guy's a police officer at all. Because he's confused. And he goes and he takes it with a napkin and puts it inside some plastic to take it with him. Because he's like, okay, something's shady going on here. Now why are men slow? Are we the only analytical thinkers in this situation that the men do not realize? It takes them a long time to figure out, oh, I might be being played in this situation. Took about the first whole hour, 15 minutes of the film to realize, yeah, I might be being played in this scenario. But we as a female, like, we don't know what's exactly going on, but we done posted ourselves up to stand in the middle, and we like, bruh getting played. He getting played. Like, legit. We peeped at the first 5 minutes. It's like from the time we saw him looking a little bit nervous at the burnt down house. It's like, somebody getting played up in here. And it ain't me. And in some cases it was y'all, because the one, he left you for the counterfeit, and now he out here getting played by the counterfeit. So he comes back to the office and he meets the other doctor. They talk. He goes down. They drive back over to the office, and he's like, and this is the point where I turned it on last night. She's trying to find out what's going on next, as to what their next move needs to be in relation to finding out about this insurance policy. And he goes outside and he tells his friend, yo, I don't know what in the world, but, and he pretty much explains to his friend, you got a day's spouse has a confidant. They always have a confidant. There's somebody that he has that he can talk to when he gets into his mess. It's the one that's always going to listen to him when he's in, not the friend that is going to push you into your mess. The friend that's going to talk you down after you done got in your mess and give you the solution in order to help you get out of your mess. That friend. But you know who that friend is. We all know who that friend is. And if you were married to them before, you probably knew that friend better than they do, because you've been observing and peeping these things for years. And let me tell you, that friend know you still in, that the God ordained spouse is still in love with you. Because he literally told him, he's like, oh, and it's like, if it's a possibility for you and her get back together. He turned, look at him and say, excuse me, yeah, wait, no, what? Yeah. because he peeped he was still in love with his wife. They still in love with you. And because this scenario done got so creepy, they like, I'm still in love with her and I'm still working with her. But I don't, you are the key to solving this situation. You the key. But they don't want you to find out what they've been up to. They've been doing some do dirt stuff behind closed doors, and they don't want you to know what they were doing. They don't want you to have an idea of the kind of person that they've been outside of your presence, even though, yeah, they've been out there. They've been doing it. Kind of feels like interrogation, like, huh? They've been out there. They've been doing it. They've been involved into some things that they probably are not happy about admitting that they were going through and experiencing. But they were out there and they were doing it. And they're trying to stay a step ahead of y'all, not realizing God done already told you. You may not have all the details, but the Spirit done already revealed the truth to you. That's why you sitting in the midst of it. And a lot of y'all been sitting in the midst of it and y'all ain't want to be there. You're like, I did not need to know all this information about what they were going through while they were. And God's like, I needed to give it to you in order for you to know where to pray. I needed you to be in the midst of it in order for you to know where to pray. So, she on the phone trying to find out about the insurance policy. He goes and slips into his office. He gets a phone call from the dude from investigative what have you, talking about, oh, we need the money back. And he's like, excuse me? He's like, the money. You remember the money from the case that you just busted a couple weeks ago? We need that money now. Look, I can't deal with that right now. I'm right in the middle. I'm busy. Get unbusy. We need the money right now. He's like, but I could. It's like, I'm sending somebody over there right now to come get the money. And by the way, you got 5 seconds before I hang up this phone. It's to go and get it. And he's like, but now hangs up the phone. And he's like, oh man, everything that was going on in your God ordained spouse's life that was out of alignment for your marriage agreement is starting to crumble. It's falling apart and falling into pieces. Why? Because you're there. Same for anybody that would be standing for their marriage. When the God ordained comes into position, anything that is out of alignment with that God ordained woman being there, it must fall apart. But men who are macho try to be macho and sit up there and say, oh, I'm going to stand and deal with this and deal with it outside of their help. Outside of them understanding and knowing from that position of help. So they trying to figure it out. And they trying to stay ahead of you, which half the time you already knew anyway. But they trying to stay ahead of you before you find out their stuff. So what's he do now? He walking around trying to ear hustle. Some of your God ordained spouses, come on now. They've been watching you. They've been listening. They've been listening to what you've been listening to, trying to see if you know exactly what's going on. That's why I know a lot of y'all been seeing the words. They're watching you. They're watching you. They're watching you. They've been watching you. I don't know if I have permission to say what the Lord showed me, but I'm going to say this much. They have been watching you. Wherever there's a opening that you are publicly able to be watched, they've been watching you. It's been on the slide tip, hoping you didn't notice that they were still watching you, but you're being watched. So he's in there, ear hustling, trying to find out if she heard about the insurance policy. And she on the phone and she's like, well, who's the beneficiary of the insurance policy? He's like, oh, I hope that they don't know it's me. I don't want it to be. And he's trying to slip back to his office real quick. And he's standing a little bit slow by the door because he wants to hear if it's going to be his name on the insurance policy. And it's like, wait, oh yeah, it's Chris. He's like, oh, okay, her husband was on the insurance policy. Okay. And he's like, he get ready to walk into the office and it's like, yeah, by way, we just looked, it's a note in here. They changed the beneficiary to insurance policy. You could see the angst all over his face. Yeah. But he knows that they gotta find out where it is. And she's like, can you find it, please?